Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the University of Illinois Springfield virtual orientation session. My name is Lisa McGuire. I am the program director for retention and student transition here at UIS. I coordinate a number of programs for UIS First Generation Initiative. I work with our CPS, Chicago Public School high school grads, as well as Noble Charter Schools, and our Hope Scholars program. I also I'm located in Founders Residence Hall, across from the bookstore right now. So I'm kind of a problem solver because my doors open. Usually people come in and drop in. So if you are on campus, and you have questions you need answered, don't hesitate to come by my office in Founders Residence Hall. Well, this morning, we are working on orienting you to get you ready for classes. Most of you are coming in for the summer session, which starts Monday. And a couple of you are starting in the fall semester, which is first day is August 24th. This is our welcome session. I welcome any of our parents and family members who are joining our students today. Thank you so much for your support of your student. I consider you our partners in your student success. I am here also as a resource for parent and family members if you have questions as well, and glad to have you join us. We have a number of speakers today. We're going to have an academic overview. Financial aid is going to speak, and so is the Bursar's office for three important things: financial aid and billing, and then your academic information, time to degree, and some policies you need to be aware of. And I'm going to start with our Associate Provost for Undergraduate Education and Student Success, Michael Roth, who is going to lead us through our academic overview. Michael, take it away.
Okay, good morning. I'm going to share my presentation here. I'm going to say I have to send a request to share. I'm going to hit that.
You should be able to now.
Yep, I believe I've got it. Okay, can everybody see the presentation?
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, good morning. As she said, I'm Michael Roth. I get to be our Associate Provost for Student Success and Undergraduate Education here at UIS. I've been here a little over a year, so getting to know the terrain. At the end of this presentation, you will see my email. So for students and parents alike, one of my favorite things to do in my job is relationship build. So parents, if and whenever you're on campus, or students, you're probably on campus a lot, reach out to me. I would love to meet you and have a coffee cup conversation about your life and share a little about mine. I'm a physicist by training, but no physics lecturer today. So I'm going to give you lots of information today. So the answer in the back of the book is that you'll have my email. Please reach out to me if you have questions. And so I'm going to hit my advancement here. There. So this is me with a couple of my most trusted associates. So I'm a dog lover. So again, good morning and welcome. So what is our DNA as a university? We are a small establishment, and we are very student focused. So we place a premium on teaching. So we have, we excel at teaching. We have world-class teaching. We have fairly low student to instructor ratios, so we can provide personal attention in our classrooms and labs. And we place a premium on student engagement. And so we integrate liberal arts curriculum and engagement outside the classroom together in our degree programs. So when I say liberal arts, I mean classes like humanities, social sciences, natural sciences, math, the classes that make us more holistic citizens. We do emphasize public affairs and civic engagement, and so that's another important part of our DNA. When your student or you graduate, your degree is going to be recognized in industry, in the community, by grad schools, and so that's going to be an apprentice card, if you will, toward career readiness, more education. Lots of different paths you can take. And so I'm very happy to discuss my experience and pathways you can take after graduation. And I want to be one of your front row fans in your educational journey. I want to emphasize that you're welcome here. We value your lived experience. And you're going to have many opportunities in class and in the community to talk about local, regional, and national, international issues. And so we also place a premium on that holistic consideration of events. And so you will also be able to participate in community building campus events. One thing that I want to do while I'm here, which I hope is a long time, is to build faculty, family, and student community on campus. And so that's a really important part of fitting in and feeling welcome. And so I want to emphasize that it's great to have you here. So the baccalaureate degree. So about half of your degree is made up of your major hours, and the other half are university and gen ed requirements and electives. And so these are some close but fairly rough numbers. And so on top there is your major, and then you have 37 to 40 hours of gen ed. You've got ECHE classes. I'm going to talk about those a little bit. Engaged citizenship, common experience, 10 hours. And then 4 to 36 hours of electives, all adding up to 120 hours. We have advisors that care deeply and are deeply involved in your academic life cycle. So please make sure you work with your advisor and know the catalog. It's very important to know that because that's your roadmap. When you take out a major, it's also possible to very easily plug in a minor. So I took out a physics major, for example, a long time ago, but you can still do it. And I took a math and chemistry minor with just a few more classes. So if you're familiar with what minors you can plug into your major track, that can also be very beneficial for you. And please have that conversation with your advisor. They'll be very happy to do that. So gen ed courses can be thought of as more introductory, holistic courses, roughly 40 lower division credits in these topics. So we have writing, it's very important, oral comm, math, life and physical sciences, one with a lab, social science, and humanities. Traditionally, these are taken at the front end of your degree track before you get into the more major focus courses. There can be variations to that. Education is not a cookie cutter thing necessarily, but that's generally how gen ed courses play out. They're your introduction generally. As far as university requirements, we have engaged citizenship, common experience courses, ECHE, and categories are, as you can see, U.S. communities, global awareness, engagement experience, and there's also speaker series. And so you need 10 hours of ECHE courses from 2 of those first 3 categories there. So 10 hours from 2 of the first 3 categories. And everybody takes a 1-hour speaker series course. Typically, these are external speakers and on ground. So we can expose you to a wide variety of ideas and a vibrancy of thought. I call it vibrancy of thought. There's other university requirements, first year seminar, comparative societies. And for example, comparative societies and first year seminar can double dip with gen ed. So your advisor will know the latest about and all the details about classes that can double dip for requirements, so count for both in both spaces. So be sure to have that conversation with them. That can be that can be very helpful to be familiar with those opportunities. First year coursework. So generally, first year students take first year seminar, which makes sense from the title, right? And composition the first semester. And then there can be additional 100, 200 level courses, mainly gen ed, like I mentioned before, depending upon your needs. And transfer students in with less than 30 hours also need first year seminar the first semester. So for math, a little bit about math placement testing. You can test into math at different levels. This depends in large part upon what you have coming in to the university, as well as what major you're taking out. So you can get placed into math courses appropriate to your major, or quantitative reasoning or applied statistics, for example. Algebra and trigonometry, so 102, 103, those count for college credit, but they don't count for gen ed math requirements because they don't have more of a holistic approach to them. So these are a few details on math coming in to the university. And if you look at our website on math placement and placement exams, there's a lot more information on that. And again, with the individuals, I'm going to give you emails for at the end of the presentation. Do not hesitate to reach out because this is a lot of information and a lot of moving parts. But if you come into the university without math credit, then for sure you'll need a placement test. And you need one college level gen ed math course, but other majors might need more than that. So again, that depends upon your major. We are just completing 4-year degree pathway plans, and that's going to be very useful because the student can look at the pathway and basically see the mile markers for all 4 years of study. So that can be very useful. So that can help you kind of budget out where and when you take your courses. So those maps are coming in new. So that's going to be helpful to have those because they'll be updated. So 120 hours for a degree. If you do a calculation, this averages out to 15 hours per semester for 4 years. So life can happen. There can be other factors involved. People learn at different paces. So I want to strenuously emphasize that the 4-year completion track to a degree is it is only a target, but many people take more, some people take less, and that's perfectly fine because higher education generally is not cookie cutter. So if you take a certain pathway, right, and you decide you want to switch, and you switch to something such that a lot of the courses don't transfer into your new track, you may take 5 years, you may take 6 years, and from a purely educational point of view, that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. We all go at our own pace and learn it in our own ways. I want to emphasize the individuality of that. We have summer and intersession classes. There's also half semester courses. So there are ways to accelerate your project, your progress. And I actually have the privilege of working with Lisa McGuire in terms of planning some ways students can catch up when they fall behind. That's very important. So we want to offer a lot of what we call wraparound support for students to stay on track. And if you do feel like you are lagging, or if it's very challenging and you can't manage it, do not hesitate to reach out to your advisor. You will find support. There are some adequate progress requirements. So I have a link here for NCAA. These are related to athletics, athletes, staying on track. And then there's financial aid satisfactory academic progress. There's a rate of completion requirement. I believe that's close to 2/3. I don't want to quote myself on that, but the latest figures you can get from your advisor. For undergrad students, a GPA of 2, and there's a maximum time frame requirement. And so you have to complete your degree within a certain amount of hours. And so I believe that figure is 180, the last I've seen. And so again, the reason I'm putting it that way is something may have changed that I'm not aware of, but it's around 180. So that means that you need to have 180 hours attempted by the time you would complete your degree. And if you are, again, falling off track or having a lot of challenges, talk to your advisor early and often. I can't emphasize enough that you will find strong support for your success. And I also want to be one of your front row fans for your success. The financial assistance staff can give you more details as well. So lots of people you can talk to for information. We have a lot of support services for students because we want to see you succeed, and we're deeply invested in your success. So the Center for Academic Success and Advising, CASA, we offer advising services. We also offer tutoring out of the Learning Hub, and there's an Advise You app, and we can offer some guidance on that. We have the Office of Engaged Learning, OEL. So the OEL deals with many, many things, but international programs is one of them. Internships and prior learning is another. Um, and then there's other additional support services we have on campus, information technology, the disability, counseling. It's incredibly important. Health and wellness. We have a diversity center. I've interfaced with the students there and done some interviews with them. Absolutely delightful group there. Veterans Affairs, very important. We have a career development office and a food pantry. So there's many places on campus where we offer holistic support for your success. So please take advantage of those. That's what we would want. So this was a lot of information very quickly. I work with Dr. Sweeting Trotter, Tara. This is her email address here and her phone number. She's the director of CASA presently. And then there's myself on the bottom. There's my email address and my office phone. Don't hesitate to reach out for me if you want to have a coffee cup conversation. If you have questions about something I said here, or you want me to find out more information, do not hesitate to email me, and I'll get back to you with it all. And so that is my academic orientation. And thank you very much for listening.
Any questions for Dr. Roth at all? All right. Next up is Kyla King from our Bursar's office. And Kyla, you have the ability to share.
Okay, thank you. Hold on one second. Let me see here. Share. I'm sorry. Hold on, let me go in here. Can you see my screen?
Nope, just you.
Oh, okay. 1 second. Great. Hold on. For some reason, it's not going through. Hold on. Sorry. I got it going here. Can you see it now?
Yeah, you need to, there you go. Open up your full screen on the presentation
That's what I'm
because
looking at.
we're seeing all your screens.
Sorry. Let's see here.
So click on the presentation and then the square for full screen in the presentation.
Yeah, it's on my other screen though. It's for some reason it's went to my other. Let's see. It's on the wrong screen. That's what it is. Looks like. Let me try this again. Okay, share. Select the window. Allow. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes. But
Okay.
but
Is it the full screen?
it's full screen, but I think you need to go back a couple slides.
Okay, sorry. Oh, great. There it is. Can
There
you
you
see it
go.
now?
Yep.
Oh, thank you guys. I'm so sorry. Technical problems. This is what happens when you come back from vacation. All righty. Hi, I'm Kiela King. I'm in the Bursar office, and I'm here to tell you what we do in our office, give you an overview of some of the resources that you can do or see through, through our billing process. Okay. So, University Bursar is responsible for managing student accounts, transactions, and collecting payments for the university. We are the office you contact for questions about charges, credits, your student accounts, questions on how to make payments. We can also help you with questions regarding refunds. One thing to note, we are different from the financial aid office as we do not deal with the awarding processes such as loans, grants, scholarships, or waivers. Our University Bursar office is located in the UHB building, just to let you know. One second. Let's just take a look at our website here. Okay, so this is our homepage for the University Bursar website. It's paymybill.uillinois.edu. It is a great resource that will answer many questions that you will have. If you have questions after looking over the website, you can contact us by phone or email. This information can be found by clicking the Contact Us link at the top of the page. I do want to call your attention to a few important sections that are circled in red. One, we have the new student section that contains the university checklist. This checklist has 6 items to be completed prior to the start of the semester, and we'll go through that through checklist today. Second, you will go into the UI Pay to view your student account and make payments, which is the payment online portal for the university. Okay. Once you log in, you will be taken to this page here. Okay, this is the Access My Student Account page, which is number 1 on the checklist. There is a separate link for students and authorized payers shown on this slide. Once you have logged in, you would choose Pay My UI Pay on the Bursar card to access your student account. Okay. Every university is charged with protecting student confidentiality. Um, there is a federal law called the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA for short, that governs what information we can give out and to whom we can provide it to. Students can add individual authorized payers, which will grant access to their students' account information, allowing us to discuss student account details. Authorized payers have their own login credentials, will receive billing emails, and can view and pay their students' account online. Enrollment instructions are available on the website, and setting your authorized payer is number 2 on our checklist. This is this is only a release for the Bursar office and does not apply to any other departments. In the event the student is ever owed a refund, it will be issued electronically via direct deposit. Enrolling in direct deposit is number 3 on our checklist. and we encourage you to sign up as soon as possible. Funds will be withdrawn. I'm sorry, funds will not be withdrawn to make payments from your bank account. This bank account is only for refunds. Only students have access to the direct deposit enrollment, and it must be a U.S. Checking or savings account. And this is and it's free. The account will never be, um, you know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I lost my place. It is free. I'm sorry. Whenever you wish, okay. Students will receive an email anytime the refund is processed. Okay, the university does not mail out paper billing statements. All students and their authorized payers must go online to their student accounts to act to uh, student account activity or print invoices from their portal. UiPay makes it very easy to do so. Students and authorized payers will receive an email reminder to view their student account for recent activities and to pay any amount due by the due date. At the beginning of each semester, you will be encouraged to log into your student account early before classes start. You will see assessments for tuition, mandatory fees, housing and meal plans, and other charges from the university departments. You are encouraged to check your student account frequently. Even if you think your bill is paid in full, you should still pay attention to the billing notifications and check your account for any activities just in case. Tuition and fees are number 4 on the checklist. Semester due dates are listed on the screen. Any miscellaneous incidental charges are due on the 28th of each month in which they are billed. Keep in mind that miscellaneous fees, such as library fines or classroom material fees, could be added throughout the semester. So it's always a good practice to check your student account each month, even during the summer semester, to avoid any late fees. If your bill is not paid by the due date, your account will be subject to a monthly late fee penalty of 1.5%, the unpaid balance. Also, a financial hold could be placed on the student account that can prevent registration for the next semester. Number 5 on the checklist is understanding your payment options. If you have financial aid, meaning grants, loans, scholarships, or waivers that you expect to cover your balance, you will not need to touch bases. You would need to touch bases with the financial aid office to make sure all requirements have been fulfilled. If they have, financial aid will automatically disperse to your student account at the beginning of the semester. If you do not or will not be receiving any financial aid or enough to cover the entire semester, there are several options available to pay your student account. One option is to pay online using your credit card or an e-check option. With the credit card, there is a service fee. If you're planning on using a debit card, we strongly encourage you to use the e-check option. That way you can avoid any service fees. You can also send a check or money order through the mail. All checks and payments should have the student name and the ID number. Um, do note that this check will be sent to the mailing address in the Chicago office. The university also offers an optional payment plan, which is number 6 on the checklist. Students and authorized payers can spread payments of anticipated tuition, mandatory fees, and room and board expenses over several months. One advantage of the payment plan is you will not receive any late fees or have financial holds placed on your account for if the payment plan is budgeted correctly. The cost of the payment plan is $40 per semester, and there are enrollment deadlines. The sooner you enroll, the more payments you will be able to schedule, which will reduce your monthly payments. If you want to enroll in the payment plan, you must have a U.S. checking or savings account and be willing to allow automatic withdrawals on the 20th of each month from your bank account. If you use a credit card, just please note that there is a service fee in addition to each payment. Let's see. We do recommend, though, that you use the e-check option to avoid any service fees. I would like to remind you that signing up for the payment plan is not a mandatory thing. It's simply an option to allow students to spread payment expenses over the course of the semester. If you plan to pay in full by the due date, or if you get enough financial aid to cover the cost of attendance, then there is no need to sign up for the payment plan. So you can contact us, our office, with any questions that you may have. Details, billing information can be found 24/7 on our website, paymybill.uillinois.edu. Please note that there is a QR code that you can scan that will take you directly to our website. And thank you for listening to my presentation. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you so much, Kyla. Any questions for Kyla about billing, authorized payers? All righty. Our last presenter is Jessica Bailey from the Financial Aid Office. Jessica, take it away.
Thank you, Lisa. Can you see my screen okay?
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Bailey. I work in the Office of Financial Assistance here at UIS. I've been in my role now for just over 3 years. I advise undergraduate students on anything and everything financial aid, and then my area of specificity is within scholarship. So if you do have any questions about scholarships, I'm the person to go to, especially as you're navigating the first semester or two at UIS. So welcome. You see here. All right, so the first thing that we're going to go over is just overall understanding your aid offer. So if you are able to, what students would do is, so if you're going to be joining us this summer, if you're able to, you would need to complete a 25-26 FAFSA. That would make you eligible for summer aid. Summer's a little bit different than our fall and spring semesters. You would have to register first, and then we can consider your aid after. If you are going to be joining us in fall, that means if able, we would need a 26-27 FAFSA. So we're kind of between academic years and aid years right now. So once we get your FAFSA, once we get that information, then we are able to process your aid, and then that would populate your aid offer. So something important to note is aid offer notifications are mailed and emailed to students. This is something that you can find on the financial aid notification section of our self-service portal. You will want to, I always recommend to students to bookmark the self-service portal because it's financial aid, but it's also records and registration and adding and dropping classes. It's also anything and everything with your student account. With University Bursar, it'll show your UiPay account. This will be a really good resource for you to have handy as you need to check information and stay better informed on what's going on with your account. Um, and then also to mention the online self-service portal is what's going to be the most up to date. Of course, you're gonna have your mailed offer notification, but if you say you get you have different scholarship criteria. So say the final transcript that you submitted has a higher GPA, which then bumped you up to a different scholarship level. You're going to want to check your online self-service to see those updates. So just something important there. This is also where you can accept decline request changes with your aid. So if you so say you're going to accept your scholarships, but you are going to decline loans. This is where you can do that through the portal, and it updates in real time on our side to show that you do not want loans, for example. Also, request changes. Say you might have a private scholarship or something that's going to be coming in, and you want to notify us of that. You can indicate that there. Request changes, say you accepted a loan, but now you want to decline it, or now you only want to accept a portion of it. That is where you could get a hold of us to do so. You can also reach out to us directly to address those questions, those concerns, those changes. Also, what could be on the aid offer? So grants and scholarships, they're typically already accepted for the student because it's not money you have to pay back at a later time, and it's in the best interest of the student to utilize those sources because you earn them. Grants you could see could be Pell Grant, that is through the federal government. It could be Illinois MAP Grant, which per the name, it's through the state of Illinois. And then scholarships that you could see could be anything institutional. It could be any donor-funded scholarships if you were to receive any of those. It could be private scholarships, things like that. But usually those are already accepted for the student. Donor funded, like I mentioned. So if any one of you completed, so it wouldn't, most donor funded scholarships do not apply to summer. They would apply to fall and spring traditionally. There's only a very, very few amount of these scholarships that would apply to summer. And all of those are usually geared towards study away programs within that time. But it is one application to be considered for multiple scholarships. The deadline for this for 26-27 has already passed. So if you have not done this application, unfortunately, you would not be considered within this next cycle, but our next application should be opening in early November, where make sure you apply, make sure you submit your application. You submit one application to be considered for multiple scholarships. And we will have this posted everywhere. So then you can take advantage of that. And if for whatever reason, if you don't see that, or if you remember like, hey, I remember that person from financial aid mentioning donor funded scholarships and I want to be involved, let me know. I will send you the link directly. So once again, you can take advantage of that opportunity. We also do have federal work study. Something important to note with federal work study is it is not traditional in the sense of like with our other aid programs where it's accepted, we're in our disbursement window, it pays to your account, and then it takes from your bill. Federal work study is you have to have a federal work study designated position on you, most of them being on campus. And then it's a job that you get paid for, via direct deposit. So really you need to be thinking of it as more of like a part-time job on campus rather than an aid program that goes directly to your student account. With the money that you would work for with this program, you could apply it to if say you have a little bit of a balance left over that you need to account for, you could pay that towards your balance, but a lot of students do use it for miscellaneous expenses as they come up, and then they have other other options for their overall bill. But of course, you earning that money, you getting that money, you would make that determination on where it would go. And then also we do have federal like veteran affairs benefits. There is like College Illinois 529 plans that was mentioned by Keela just a little bit ago. If you do have any military connected veteran affairs benefits. We have a professional in our office, a couple professionals that work in this area. One of them, her name is Angie Tippy. She's wonderful in this area. She'll make sure all of your forms are accounted for, everything's processed as it should be. Unfortunately, this is not my, I'm not as familiar with this area as some other areas, but she is a wonderful professional and she'll take care of you. If you do have any of those to utilize, then she'll put you in the right direction. We also do offer, with any aid offer, you would likely see federal direct loans. The only time you wouldn't is if you have used up like all of your federal direct loan eligibility. But especially since you're just coming in for most of you, I would imagine that a lot of you aren't at at any lifetime limits or anything like that. Something to note for loans is starting in 2026, loan disbursements will change per enrollment intensity. So with loans through the federal government, you would see that it's either a subsidized loan or an unsubsidized loan. A subsidized loan is based in financial need, while an unsubsidized loan is not. A key difference between the two is the unsubsidized loan does accrue interest as you borrow, while the subsidized loan does not. So just some things to note there. But like I said, loan disbursements will change with enrollment.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, did someone say something? No? Okay, sorry. I might have heard some feedback of myself. My apologies. Well, yeah, so loan disbursements will change. So what happened with 25, 26 and um in the past. If you were at least 6 credits, so for an undergraduate student, you're at least 6 credits, you were honored the full amount of eligibility in loan as you wanted to borrow. It'll now starting in 26, 27, it will now be prorated. So the student will need to, so for undergraduate students, because I believe that's what's mostly making up this call. I don't believe that any graduate students are on the call today. But it's still good to note, especially if you are thinking about graduate school and moving in that direction going forward. For undergraduate students, you do need to be in at least 6 credits. This is considered part-time for loan eligibility. Anything you would at least need to be considered a full-time student to receive the full loan. If you are, say you're at 9, your loan will now be prorated based on your enrollment intensity instead of you receiving that full amount you'd be eligible for, for the semester. So there will be some changes. Students could see with their enrollment status, they could see reductions to their loan. This would be determined at the add drop period of each semester. So this is usually the 10th day of the semester when your enrollment is finalized. So what could happen is you could accept a loan, but say you're in 9 credits, but you accepted the loan for the full time. At 9 credits, you are not considered full time. So we would have to prorate that loan, and then so you could see an adjustment of that loan moving forward. I know that that's a little bit confusing. I know our office is still, and many other campuses around the nation is trying to kind of wrap their head around this and form different procedures and policies in place to make sure that this is as easy and streamlined as possible. But we wanted to inform you that this would be a change to loans moving forward. And of course, too, something to mention, you do not have to accept loans. Loans are completely optional. For some families, they want to do only grants and scholarships. That's what they want to focus on. And then they'll have maybe a different option for if there is anything else out of pocket, whether that be a payment plan, whether that be the 529 plan, whether that be something else. There are other families where they're going to accept only what they need, which could include loans, but only to cover their bill, nothing more. And then there are other families who they're going to accept everything regardless. So wherever, especially with the loan piece, wherever that might fall, just know that they're still it could be your aid offer could be subject to adjustments as needed and in compliance with the federal and state government.
I have a question.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, for the like having to be part-time or like, having to be full-time to get the full amount, does that apply for the summer? Because I was told that I could only do 6 credit hours because it's the summertime.
Correct. Yeah. No, the summer is different. So the summer is, and that's a great question, Evelyn. Thank you. The summer is considered 25, 26. So that is still under the old loan policy.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so the loan proration part, this will happen as of fall 26. And as we know, unless the federal government makes changes or provides different recommendations for this new policy, it will be 26, 27 and onward. So this will include fall and future.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent question. Once again, understanding your aid. So this is a little bit with disbursements and if you have any pending requirements, how that could impact your aid from dispersing. So for most students, aid will disperse to their account as long as everything's satisfied on their account, everything's accepted that needs to be, all the pieces are done, the puzzle is kind of put together for your aid. So it would be about 7 to 10 days before the semester starts. And then all missing documents and forms must be turned in prior to disbursement. So if we are still, say you have a document that is still at a required status, your loan would not your aid, it could be your loan, but your aid will not disperse until everything is satisfied and everything's in order. If you haven't received an aid offer, if you haven't received any disbursements of aid, if you're like, okay, like what's going on, I recommend that you contact our office because it could be it's possible that you could have your information like flagged for whatever reason that is preventing disbursement. It could be that there maybe was issues in the transfer of us getting your FAFSA. So, and then if we don't get your FAFSA, the aid can't process after that. It could be a variety of different pieces that could be going on. One of our professionals will look into your account. They'll kind of investigate what's kind of going on, and then we'd be able to go from there with you on if something is needed on your end or if something were to be needed on our end, because we found the error and then we're going to move forward. So definitely within the financial aid realm and with other offices as well, if something doesn't look right with your account, if something doesn't seem right, give us a call. Let us know. We would rather have, that timely communication so we can take care of it for you to make sure that there's no kind of any bad surprises later on. The student self-service, so this is what I mentioned a little bit. This is when I was talking about, have it bookmarked because you're going to go to it many times throughout the semester, throughout your time at UIS. This is the main student hub, student portal for all of your information. So on the financial aid side, you will see if there's anything unsatisfied. You will see requirements that have been satisfied, and it'll give kind of a status update of where you're at with that. You'll see your financial aid offer. You'll see financial aid terms and conditions. Please make sure you read the terms and conditions, just so you can stay better informed on your aid offer and if changes could be applicable and what that might look like. Accept, decline, modified aid as applicable for the student, and then of course request changes like to the aid offer as needed. Once again, you can communicate with us through the self-service portal. You can also communicate to us, via phone call. We do, walk-ins. You can schedule an appointment with one of our advisors. Really, whatever's going to make the most impact for you, what's going to be the most helpful for you, and so then we can best take care of you. Other aid, just to note, so other aid, this means a lot of times this means outside of the FAFSA or outside of institutional aid. So there could be for dependent students, these are undergraduate students, a Parent Plus loan could be applicable. This is when the parent um, completes a Parent Plus application, if they're, and there's a credit check, if they're approved, the parent is taking out a loan for the student's education. So that could be applicable. Also, any private scholarships that might be coming from your high school, it might be coming from your if you know a transfer student, your past institution, it could be from your community, it could be from your employer, it could be anything like that that you have applied to, you were approved for, and then you communicate with us so then we can make sure that that scholarship gets applied to your account. And then there are also private education loans for undergraduate students, also graduate students, but private education loans are outside, completely external to the university. They're usually through a bank, a credit union, a lender. Not necessarily that I'm recommending this lender because I can't with a because there's a conflict of interest if any institution is recommending a specific lender. But what a lender that a lot of people have heard of is Sallie Mae. So if that were to be applicable, usually you would have to research that lender, you would have to apply through them. Everything initiated would be on the external lender side. Us as an institution, we would have an approval part of that, but it's fully initiated and fully done at the front with the external lender. So just make sure you research if this were to be applicable. Yeah, just make sure you research repayment timelines. Make sure you research interest rates, as they tend to be a little bit higher than some other loan options, like through the FAFSA. Just make sure you do your due diligence to make sure the loan that you would pick is the best for you and your family and your finances. For graduate students, other options, it's a little bit outside of aid because it technically is kind of a work opportunity that then helps with tuition waivers and things like that. But there is the GPSI, which is the Graduate Public Service Internship Program. You would have to apply, you would have to be selected. A lot of these students work through like a state government office. But then you would receive a tuition waiver, and that's a great program. And then also a GA, which is a graduate assistantship program. It works very similarly, but a lot of these positions are on campus through offices, through academic departments, things like that. It could be through housing, for example, especially if you're considering graduate school. It's good to look into these ahead of time so you know application timeframes and deadlines to be considered. And then University Bursar did mention FERPA. Our office also closely follows FERPA. So the Office of Financial Assistance cannot discuss detailed information with anybody except the student. This does include parents. Even if the parent does pay for the bill, we do have to have a FERPA form on file that the student is designating that the parent is approved to have this information without them being present. So we do have an authorization to release financial aid form through our office if that were to be applicable. We can, yeah, especially if the parent does call on behalf of the student, we can only speak in very, very generally about aid. We cannot talk about specifics at all unless this form is completed or unless the student is present with the parent during the time of the call or the walk-in, whatever. And then we also do follow satisfactory academic progress. Like was mentioned in the advising session, undergraduates do have to maintain a minimum GPA of 2.0, graduates a 3.0. There is the completion ratio or the pace of completion. So this is a lot with earned versus attempted hours. You have to have a minimum of at least a 67%. So I would really caution students on attempting credits, but then not completing them. So that means that you withdrew from the class. And then if you do that multiple times, this is where the completion ratio can kind of catch up with you. And then maximum credits attempted is 150. So students need 120 credits to graduate. And then you would be allowed at least 180 maximum attempted credits. You would need to complete your degree within that time. And then if you would not, if you're at or exceeding that 180%, or I'm sorry, 180 credits, that's where you could be put on SAP cancellation, where you might not be eligible for aid, or you would have to appeal through our office to be considered for aid. So just things to keep in mind. We just want to make sure that you're on track, you're doing well in your classes, and you're going towards graduation. Okay. If you have your phones or, screenshot this, we are located in University Hall building. If you are ever on campus at any time, office hours are 8:30 to 5 Monday through Friday. Our phone number is there, email is there. If you want to do appointments with our office, that is how you can do so. And then you can find a lot of this information on our financial aid website. Any questions that I can answer for anyone? Okay, excellent. If questions do come up, please let our office know. Please let me know. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope it's very informative, and welcome to UIS.
Thank you so much, Jessica. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. And quickly, I want to share with you, we've mentioned self-service, and I want to share with you where to find self-service and some of these portals that we've been talking about. So you're looking at, or hopefully you're looking at, our UIS main website. So at the very top, you'll see the students menu. And if you click on that, these are a whole bunch of quick links to get you to your UIS email, Canvas, which is our learning management system, the academic calendar, and UI Connect. Now, this UI Connect is directed to the registrar's office. This UI Connect gets you to self-service. And so this is where you'll find the class registration, looking at your grades, the financial aid tab. And one of the cool things is you can customize, there's a number of tiles or with cards, and you can customize where you want these and how you want them set up. You can easily move them around, bookmark them, or get rid of them that, if they're not, something you're interested in. And so you can customize all of this stuff. Pay your bill, the Bursar's office is linked on here as well. And for example, class schedules and your student billing tile is here as well. So this is a really important tool to navigate a lot of the things you'll need to access on campus from that students link on the main webpage. All right. It is, we got about a minute left. So any questions before we end this particular session? Okay. We have about a 15-minute break, and then we'll have our orientation group meeting. So you guys have an opportunity to meet each other and get to know each other. There'll be a lunch break after that. 1 o'clock is our UIS technology session, where our IT manager will go through accessing UIS email, as well as Canvas and some of the other neat things that IT does. 1:30, our first year freshmen, our first year freshman transfers coming in with less than 24 hours. We have a session for you with the Center for Academic Success and Advising from 1:30 to 3:30. And this is only for the first year's transfers. You should have made arrangements to contact and meet with your academic advisors. 3:30, the registrar's office has a session going through how you register for classes, as well as some of the policies that students are often not reading the information and are aware of in terms of things like when you withdraw or drop classes and how that works in terms of payments and charges. And then they have at 4:30, the registrar's office will also be live for half an hour for just drop-in Zoom appointments if you're having any difficulty with course registration. All right, so for our students, we'll see you at the orientation group meeting in 14 minutes. And yes, this session was recorded. So Angela, I'll be able to send that out to you. Have a good day, everybody.